If you've been good, loyal, honest, yet still overlooked, betrayed, and unseen, this message is for you, not for everyone, only for the man who has started noticing things others ignore. The man who feels the shift. The one who realizes that being good does not always mean being respected. Loyalty is not always returned. The world smiles at strength and tests softness. If that man is you, listen carefully, because this is the moment illusions die, not peacefully, but decisively. You begin to understand something uncomfortable. The world does not reward intentions. It rewards awareness, control, and power. Most men, when they see this, become bitter. A few become calm, calculated, and dangerous in silence. Machiavelli understood this long ago. People move by interest, not emotion. Once you see this, you cannot go back to innocence. You stop expecting fairness. You start studying human nature. Every betrayal becomes information. Every loss becomes discipline. Slowly, you become harder to manipulate, harder to reach, harder to break. Naivety dies the moment you realize that loyalty does not guarantee reciprocation. Effort alone does not earn reward, and kindness does not make you untouchable. Hope gives a man direction. Naivety blinds him. Most men stay blind because truth is uncomfortable. They want to believe effort guarantees reward. They want to believe honesty protects them. They want to believe people think the way they do. But the moment you start seeing patterns instead of promises, something changes inside you. You begin to notice that people respond to strength before they respond to goodness. Boundaries are respected more than sacrifices. And suddenly, you stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. This is not becoming cold toward everyone. This is becoming selective. Machiavelli never said a man must be cruel. He said a man must understand reality as it is, not as he wishes it to be. Reality is simple. People test limits, consciously or unconsciously. They push to see how much they can take, how far they can go, how easily you bend. The man who fears losing approval becomes easy to control. The man who accepts being misunderstood becomes free. You begin to notice how often emotions are used as leverage. Guilt, obligation, sympathy, tools disguised as virtue. Once you see this, you stop reacting immediately. You pause, you observe. Silence becomes your advantage because power rarely announces itself. Here's how to start building this shift today. Observe. For 1 week, track one betrayal, disappointment, or subtle manipulation daily. Write it down. Ask what happened, what was predictable, and how you could respond better next time. Set a boundary. Say no to one small thing that drains your energy. Watch the reaction. Every reaction is data. Reflect. Stop expecting immediate validation. Stop explaining your growth. Learn to see patterns, not promises. The death of naivety is not the loss of your humanity. It is the birth of clarity. You start seeing reality, not illusions. And this clarity is the foundation of strength. If you are hearing this, the shift has already begun inside you. Section 2. Discipline of emotional control. The next step in transformation is emotional control. Strength is not built only in moments of victory, but in moments of restraint. Anyone can react. Anyone can raise their voice, defend their ego, or chase the last word. Few men can remain still when provoked. This is where real power begins. The world is full of men who are physically strong but emotionally predictable. They can be angered, flattered, manipulated, or distracted with ease. Whoever controls your emotions controls your direction. A ruler who reacts emotionally becomes easy to overthrow. A man who reacts emotionally becomes easy to defeat. Most conflicts are traps, distractions designed to pull you into chaos. React without thinking, and you surrender control. Pause, allow silence, and you regain authority over yourself. The cold man appears calm even in tension. He is not unaffected. He feels anger, disappointment, and pain, but he does not allow temporary emotions to create permanent consequences. Control is awareness, not suppression. Suppression leads to resentment. Awareness leads to freedom. You notice anger rising, but you do not obey it. You notice disrespect, but you choose the timing of your response. Timing is power. The man who moves too early exposes himself. The man who moves too late loses opportunity. The man who moves deliberately cannot be rushed. Most people live reactively. They wake up responding to messages, opinions, and problems created by others. Their lives become a series of reactions, not decisions. The man becoming untouchable reverses this pattern. He becomes proactive. He decides what deserves his attention and what deserves silence. Silence, when used correctly, is one of the most intimidating forms of strength. People expect resistance and explanation. When they receive neither, they confront themselves. You will notice something as you change. The same situations that once drained, you begin to lose power. Insults feel smaller. Drama feels distant. Arguments feel unnecessary. This is not indifference. It is perspective. People instinctively test emotional boundaries. They push until they find resistance. If there is none, they push further. Emotional discipline must be paired with firm boundaries. Calm does not mean passive. Silence does not mean weak. When you speak, it must be clear, short, and final. The more you explain, the more negotiable you appear. The more certain you sound, the less people test you. Stoicism separates itself from emotional numbness. Stoicism is mastery of feeling. You still care. You still feel loyalty, ambition, even anger. But emotions serve you instead of ruling you. You become selective with your energy. You invest in growth, not reaction, in progress, not proving yourself. Emotional reactions often come from insecurity, the need to be understood, the need to be respected immediately, the need to defend identity. Once you are secure in your direction, urgency disappears. You no longer need instant validation. You allow results to speak over time. This patience creates quiet confidence that others feel but cannot challenge. People begin watching you differently. Some respect you more. Others accuse you of becoming distant. Let them. Distance is often necessary for clarity. When you stop reacting emotionally, you see motives more clearly. You notice who thrives on chaos, who benefits from frustration, who only approaches when you are vulnerable. Awareness replaces assumption, and awareness protects you. At this stage, many men feel alone, not because they lost everyone, but because they no longer connect through drama and dependency. Conversations change, priorities change. You become comfortable with silence, with solitude, with your own thoughts. This is dangerous not to you, but to those who relied on your emotional reactions. A man comfortable alone cannot be easily pressured by the fear of losing people. Emotional control does not make you cold toward life. It makes you focused. You laugh when laughter is genuine. You speak when words are necessary. You walk away when engagement serves no purpose. Your presence becomes intentional instead of constant. Intention creates weight. People listen more closely when you speak less often. Discipline begins with awareness. The moment you realize you are responsible for your reactions, you stop blaming the world for your state of mind. Strength requires disappointment. It requires seeing people clearly without romanticizing their intentions. Some will stay. Some will leave. Some will only respect you once you stop trying to please them. Accept this without bitterness. Bitterness weakens judgment. Clarity sharpens it. The colder you become toward chaos, the more peaceful your life becomes. You stop fighting every battle. You choose which conflicts deserve your energy. You stop proving your worth. You build it quietly instead. This is the beginning of real power, dominance over yourself, not others. The power of detachment. Once you master your emotions, the next stage is detachment. Not indifference, not apathy, but the ability to remove yourself from outcomes you cannot control. Most men are prisoners of expectation. They tie their peace to approval, success, and the opinions of others. They live in constant tension, hoping, fearing, and reacting. Detachment liberates you. It allows you to act without being consumed by results. Detachment is not giving up. It is strategic distance. It is the ability to engage fully in life while remaining immune to unnecessary suffering. Like a predator observing prey, you see clearly, move deliberately, and strike only when advantage is absolute. When you detach, disappointment loses its grip. The insults that once burned now slide off. Opportunities lost no longer define you. People's behavior no longer dictates your peace of mind. You become an observer of life, not a victim. Detachment gives you perspective. You recognize the cycles of human behavior, ambition, greed, jealousy, loyalty, betrayal. You notice patterns others are blind to because they are emotionally invested. You notice who is genuine, who is toxic, and who thrives on manipulation. Knowledge is power, but only when you are detached enough to see clearly. Many confuse detachment with coldness. The detached man still loves, still feels loyalty, still pursues his goals. The difference is he is not dependent on reciprocation. He does not give to receive. He acts because it is necessary, effective, or righteous. This mindset changes how people respond to you. Those who once controlled your mood lose influence. Those who tested your patience find it immovable. Your life becomes less about approval and more about results. Less about emotion and more about strategy. Detachment is also a shield. Life will throw chaos, betrayal, and disappointment at you. Without detachment, these events consume your energy and warp your thinking. With detachment, you acknowledge the events, learn from them, and move forward. You remain unshaken. True detachment requires patience. You cannot force it. You cannot fake it. It is cultivated over repeated experiences of self-control and observation. Each time you refuse to react unnecessarily, each time you prioritize clarity over impulse, you strengthen it. Some people will accuse you of being distant, cold, or uncaring. Let them. Your detachment is not about them. It is about preserving your focus and your energy. Only a man detached from outcomes can pursue his purpose without distraction. This does not mean withdrawing from life. It means engaging on your terms. It means valuing your time, your presence, and your decisions. It means recognizing that some battles are not yours, some people are not loyal, and some situations are not worth your energy. The detached man is free from manipulation, free from unnecessary drama, free from the fear of losing what he cannot control. He is dangerous not because he seeks conflict, but because he cannot be used. He moves through life with precision, choosing when to act, when to speak, and when to remain silent. Detachment also sharpens judgment. When you are not emotionally entangled, decisions become clearer. Opportunities reveal themselves. Risks are calculated accurately. Allies are recognized, and threats are neutralized before they materialize. Finally, detachment leads to an unshakable inner peace. You stop chasing validation. You stop fearing rejection. You stop reacting to chaos. And in this calm, focused state, the world starts to bend to your will not because of force, but because of presence, control, and clarity. The power of detachment is the bridge between mastery over yourself and mastery over circumstance. It allows you to navigate life unshakably, silently dominant, and relentlessly effective. The art of strategic silence. Silence is underestimated. Most men speak to be heard, to impress, or to fill the emptiness of uncertainty. Few understand the power of saying nothing. Strategic silence is not awkward. It is deliberate. It is knowing that words are tools, and like any tool, they must be used with precision. Every word you speak carries energy, influence, and consequence. Waste it, and you lose control. Use it wisely, and you command attention. The man who masters silence gains multiple advantages. He observes, he listens, he gathers information others discard. He notices intentions, weaknesses, and lies because he is not busy defending himself or proving his intelligence. Silence also creates mystery. People are naturally drawn to what they cannot fully understand. When you speak less, they fill the void with curiosity, assumptions, and respect. They project importance onto you without you having to assert it. But silence is not mere absence of speech, it is presence. It is an aura of control. It is confidence in the face of provocation. When insults, pressure, or manipulation come your way, silence speaks louder than any retort. It signals that you are not swayed, that you are untouchable by petty attempts to manipulate your emotion. Strategic silence also preserves your energy. Words, once spoken, cannot be taken back. Arguments drain you. Complaints weaken you. Gossip traps you. By speaking selectively, you conserve focus for decisions, actions, and outcomes that truly matter. There is another layer. Silence forces others to reveal themselves. People are uncomfortable with emptiness. When you refuse to fill the void, they expose intentions, fears, and weaknesses without realizing it. Your silence becomes a mirror reflecting the truth of others back to you. The key is discipline. You must resist the urge to react emotionally. Do not confuse silence with submission or fear. It is the opposite. It is strength restrained, power controlled, and awareness sharpened. Strategic silence is particularly effective in conflict. The man who remains calm while others erupt controls the narrative. His measured words carry weight. His silence carries authority. People remember him not for what he shouted, but for what he withheld. This does not mean becoming mute or detached from necessary conversation. It means mastering the timing, the context, and the impact of your words. Speak to shape reality, not to satisfy impulse. Speak to teach, to command, to influence, not to argue, to prove, or to seek validation. Silence also protects your reputation. Hasty words can create enemies, damage alliances, or reveal weakness. Controlled silence, on the other hand, projects confidence and discernment. Others recognize that your opinion matters because it is not freely given. Finally, strategic silence cultivates respect. People respect what they cannot easily grasp. They respect men who act, think, and observe more than they speak. And respect is the currency of influence more powerful than charm, aggression, or even wealth. The art of strategic silence is not learned overnight. It requires patience, reflection, and repeated practice. Each time you hold your tongue when the world expects you to speak, each time you choose observation over reaction, your presence grows. Your influence expands. Your power solidifies. Silence, when mastered, is more than absence of words. It is a weapon, a shield, and a statement. It separates the impulsive from the disciplined, the reactive from the deliberate, the weak from the powerful. Those who understand it move through the world with invisible dominance, letting others reveal themselves while preserving control. Every moment of silence is a choice. Every choice strengthens mastery. Mastering influence and presence. True power is invisible. It does not announce itself. It does not demand attention. It grows quietly, steadily, in every action, every decision, and every choice to remain disciplined. Presence is not about being seen. It is about being felt. It is the energy you carry, the confidence that radiates without words, and the subtle authority that draws attention naturally. People notice a man who moves with purpose because purpose cannot be faked. Influence flows from consistency. People watch behavior, not promises. They respond to repeated patterns, to reliability, to the quiet assurance that someone's actions match their words. Every time you show discipline, patience, and calm, you reinforce trust. And trust is influence. The man becoming untouchable understands timing. He does not rush results or seek instant validation. He invests in long-term outcomes. He tolerates slow progress because he knows permanence cannot be rushed. Impatience is weakness. Patience is strategy. Observe how people behave around you. Some will test your boundaries. Some will resist your control. Some will attempt to manipulate your attention or emotion. Their actions reveal who they truly are. And your response, measured, deliberate, restrained, becomes your silent lesson to them. True influence is never forced. It is earned. It is the byproduct of living intentionally, keeping your word, and refusing to bend to chaos. It is subtle, but it carries weight. People follow and listen because they see clarity, discipline, and focus qualities they cannot easily manipulate. Presence is strengthened by discipline in every aspect of life. Your time, your energy, your emotions, your standards, all are guarded. People respect boundaries more than generosity when it is careless. They respond to men who are selective, deliberate, and intentional, not reactive or desperate. Authority grows when your energy is contained. Every unnecessary argument, every emotional reaction, every attempt to prove yourself is a leak. The disciplined man conserves energy for the moments that matter. His focus magnifies results, influence, and control. Remember this: people respect what they cannot control. Your consistency, your calm, your ability to act without being pressured, they all create a gravity that draws others to you. And this is the essence of presence. Not loudness, not aggression, but the silent pull of a man who knows his worth and moves accordingly. When you walk into a room, you do not announce yourself. You are felt. When you speak, people listen not because they are afraid, but because they recognize the weight of your words. Every word, every pause, every gesture is intentional. Every movement signals control. Influence also grows from observation. Watch, listen, and learn before reacting. Understand motives before engaging. Predict patterns before responding. Those who rush in without insight reveal themselves and give others power over them. The disciplined man observes first, acts second, and reacts last. Presence is cultivated in solitude as much as in action. Time alone sharpens awareness, hones decision-making, and strengthens emotional control. The quieter and more deliberate you become, the more your presence expands. People feel it even when you do not speak. And there is a paradox. The less you chase attention, the more it finds you. The less you perform, the more your authenticity shines. The less you react, the more control you maintain. Influence grows not from effort to impress, but from commitment to mastery. Every strong man reaches this stage. Influence is not a tool to manipulate, it is the natural consequence of living deliberately. Your consistency, your calm, and your boundaries teach others how to behave, how to respond, and how to respect. In this stage, you begin to understand that the world respects those who respect themselves first. Control your energy, guard your time, speak with intention, move with purpose. And influence, naturally, follows. The discipline of ruthless standards. Every man has standards. Few enforce them. Fewer still live by them. The untouchable man does not settle. He does not compromise. He defines the minimum he will accept in every aspect of life, and he refuses to allow anything less. Ruthless standards are not about perfection. They are about boundaries. They are about clarity. They are about refusing to be pulled into mediocrity, chaos, or weakness. They are the invisible architecture that shapes every decision, every action, every relationship. Your body is the first test of your standards. Discipline in health, fitness, and physical presence is non-negotiable. A man who cannot control his own body cannot command respect in the world. Movement, posture, and energy are statements before words are spoken. Your mind is the second. Mental discipline requires relentless honesty. Every thought, every belief, every internal dialogue is examined. Lies, excuses, and self-deception are cut away. The untouchable man cultivates clarity of mind. He processes reality, not fantasy. Your emotions are the third frontier. Emotional mastery is often overlooked, yet it is decisive. Anger, fear, desire, or envy all are tools, not masters. Emotional discipline means responding intentionally, not reacting impulsively. It is the difference between power and chaos. Relationships are tested against your standards. Who you allow into your circle, who you trust, who you invest in, they all must meet your criteria. Loyalty, integrity, and competence are non-negotiable. Weak links erode influence, distract, focus, and dilute your presence. Time is sacred. Every hour wasted is energy lost. The untouchable man schedules, prioritizes, and eliminates distractions. He values his own company because he understands that solitude sharpens his standards and strengthens his resolve. Wealth, status, and success are only meaningful when they align with your standards. Money is meaningless if it corrupts values. Recognition is empty if it compromises integrity. True power is measured not by what you have, but by what you refuse to accept. Ruthless standards are not static, they evolve. A man who enforces them must grow alongside them. Complacency is weakness. Stagnation is the enemy. Every challenge, every obstacle, every setback is an opportunity to refine, to raise the bar, to prove to yourself and the world that your standards are unbreakable. This discipline is lonely. It is demanding. It requires saying no when others say yes. It demands patience when others seek instant gratification. It requires endurance when others quit. And yet, it is precisely this discipline that isolates mediocrity and attracts greatness. The untouchable man understands the paradox. To be free, he must be disciplined. To be respected, he must be ruthless with his own standards. To influence, he must first master himself. Boundaries are invisible, yet they are unbreachable. Standards are silent, yet they echo louder than words. Every decision, every interaction, every pursuit is filtered through these standards. They define you before you speak. They guide your actions before emotion dictates. They protect your energy and amplify your presence. When your standards are ruthless, your life becomes a reflection of your highest self. You no longer bend to the whims of others. You no longer compromise values for comfort. You no longer drift in the currents of opinion or distraction. You move deliberately, powerfully, and with unwavering certainty. And here is the truth. Most men will never understand this level of discipline. Most will call it rigidity, arrogance, or obsession. But those who do understand will recognize authority, respect control, and gravitate toward your energy. Your standards become a silent magnet. Every great man in history, leaders, warriors, innovators, achieved mastery through the enforcement of ruthless standards. It is not a matter of choice. It is the path of power. It is the foundation of influence. It is the quiet engine that drives the untouchable. Discipline is not temporary. Standards are not negotiable. They are the framework of your life, the blueprint of your legacy, and the silent signal to the world. You will not settle. You will not falter. You will not be broken. Mastering the art of strategic silence. Silence is more powerful than words. The untouchable man speaks less because he understands more. Every word is intentional. Every pause is calculated. Every silence carries weight. Most men fill the void with noise, chatter, complaints, jokes, or meaningless opinions. But noise is cheap. Noise is forgotten. Silence is remembered. Silence creates presence. It commands attention without demand. Strategic silence is a tool of influence. It is not cowardice. It is not avoidance. It is choice. By saying less, you create space for observation. You study intentions, motives, and weaknesses. You listen when others only hear. You absorb when others react. In conversations, silence is leverage. The man who does not rush to reply forces others to reveal themselves. Questions go unanswered. Statements hang in the air, and uncertainty shifts to the other person. Patience becomes power. Calm becomes authority. Silence is also a shield. By speaking less, you expose less. You reveal only what serves your purpose. You do not grant access to your strategy, your desires, or your vulnerabilities. Your words are rare. Your meaning is unmistakable. Social media, gossip, and constant commentary are traps. The untouchable man resists. He understands that every post, every message, every declaration erodes mystery. Presence is strongest when it is understated, not broadcast. Mastery of silence also extends to self-talk. Internal chatter clouds judgment. Thoughts repeated without purpose become doubts. The disciplined mind cultivates quiet. It focuses. It evaluates. It chooses action over reaction. Silence amplifies reputation. People assume confidence, knowledge, and competence in those who speak rarely but impact deeply. They read between the words and sense authority where others only hear noise. Presence is built in moments of quiet, not clamor. Conflict is transformed by silence. The untouchable man does not escalate. He does not over-explain. He observes, calculates, and responds with precision. Words are weapons. Silence is armor. Timing determines impact. Even in love and relationships, silence holds power. It communicates standards without argument. It allows space for reflection. It preserves dignity when emotions run high. Emotional control communicates strength without aggression. Strategic silence is not passive, it is active restraint. It is the deliberate choice to engage only when value is added. It is the practice of listening more than speaking, thinking more than reacting, and observing more than judging. The untouchable man knows when to speak, and more importantly, when to remain silent. He understands that every word carries weight and that true authority does not need constant affirmation. Silence is a force multiplier. It magnifies presence, protects energy, and commands respect. It shapes perception before any action is taken. It is the quiet declaration that you are in control always. When combined with ruthless standards, strategic silence becomes a signature. It is unmistakable. It is unshakable. It is a signal that your life is ruled by intention, not impulse. That your power is grounded in patience, not aggression. That your influence is earned, not demanded. The men who speak the most often have the least impact. The men who master silence shape outcomes without effort. They do not compete in noise, they dominate in presence. Your words are precious. Your silences are powerful. Master both, and you become untouchable. You become a presence that is felt, a force that is measured, and a man who commands without needing to explain. The circle of influence. Who you allow close. The people around you determine the speed and direction of your growth. Not just friends, but colleagues, acquaintances, and even casual contacts. Influence is subtle. Energy is contagious. Your environment shapes your mindset, whether you realize it or not. Most men underestimate this. They believe they can grow anywhere, with anyone. They try to lift people who resist, carry those who complain, or adjust their standards to accommodate others. And in the process, they drain their power without even noticing. The untouchable man chooses carefully. He understands that energy is finite. Attention is precious. Time is the ultimate currency. Every relationship is evaluated, not for comfort, but for alignment with purpose. Loyalty is tested not by words, but by actions. Those who demand without giving, who take without respect, or who drain without contribution are quietly removed from the inner circle. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. Your circle becomes smaller, but stronger. Fewer distractions, fewer conflicts, fewer people attempting to manipulate your time, attention, or emotions. Every person within your circle adds value, perspective, or challenge that fuels your growth. Isolation is not the goal. Alignment is. You are not shutting people out. You are opening space for the right people. You surround yourself with those who mirror discipline, strength, and integrity. Their presence elevates your standards, reinforces your focus, and sharpens your decision-making. Notice how easily energy leaks with the wrong people. Conversations become repetitive. Drama becomes normal. Motivation fades. Attention is hijacked. The untouchable man protects his inner world. Boundaries are enforced quietly but firmly. He does not explain. He does not negotiate. He simply adjusts. Influence works both ways. You impact others, and they impact you. If influence is misaligned, it weakens both sides. If influence is intentional, it accelerates growth. This is why every person in your inner circle matters. They are not chosen by proximity, history, or convenience. They are chosen by alignment. The untouchable man also recognizes when to distance himself without conflict. Detachment is not just for strangers. It applies to those who were once close but no longer serve mutual growth. Relationships evolve. People change. Interests diverge. This is natural. Acceptance of this fact protects your energy and your trajectory. At this stage, you begin to notice patterns. Who thrives on chaos? Who contributes to progress? Who challenges you constructively and who distracts you destructively? Observation replaces assumption. Discernment becomes instinct. Decisions about relationships are deliberate, not emotional. Quality replaces quantity. Depth replaces convenience. Connection becomes intentional. Each interaction carries purpose. Every word, every action, every presence is measured. The untouchable man does not waste energy proving worth or demanding respect. He surrounds himself with people who already operate at a similar frequency. Your circle also reflects your standards. As your discipline rises, so does the expectation for those around you. You do not lower your standards to accommodate comfort. You do not tolerate mediocrity to avoid friction. Every person in your life is either an ally in growth or a lesson in awareness. And here is the subtle power of influence. The stronger and more aligned your circle, the easier your path becomes. Not because obstacles disappear, but because your environment no longer adds unnecessary resistance. Your energy is preserved, your focus sharpened, and your momentum sustained. Remember this: you cannot control everyone. You cannot change everyone, but you can control who you allow close. And in doing so, you control your own trajectory. Your inner world becomes protected. Your purpose becomes clearer. Your strength becomes undeniable. The men who waste time trying to please everyone are easily manipulated. The untouchable man is selective, discerning, and deliberate. He does not seek approval, he seeks alignment. And in this alignment, he becomes unstoppable. Choose wisely. Protect your energy. Guard your attention. Curate your circle. Strength is not just what you do, It is also who you allow near you. Your influence, your growth, and your power depend on it. The mind that cannot be broken. Strength is not just physical. Discipline is not just visible. True, untouchable power lives in the mind. A mind that cannot be broken is the foundation of every decision, every action, every victory. Most men think resilience is about enduring. They measure strength by how much pain they can survive. But endurance alone is passive. The untouchable man's mind is active, strategic, unshakable. It does not just withstand chaos, it dominates it. The mind that cannot be broken recognizes the difference between external noise and internal conviction. Opinions, criticism, failures, they are irrelevant unless you allow them to be. Life will always try to test you. The question is, who decides the outcome, you or circumstance? Every challenge is a mirror. Every setback is a lesson. The untouchable man absorbs lessons without absorbing doubt. He does not internalize weakness. He does not magnify failure. He observes, analyzes, and adapts. The world cannot dictate his mental state. He decides it himself. Control begins with awareness. Awareness begins with self-discipline. A mind that cannot be broken structures its environment, routines, and habits to minimize chaos. Sleep, nutrition, movement, focus, and reflection are non-negotiables. The body and mind operate in harmony, fortified against distraction and decay. But true mental fortitude goes deeper. It is not just about control, it is about detachment. Desire, fear, anger, and ego are recognized but not surrendered to. They are tools, not masters. Emotions exist to inform action, not dictate it. This is where many men fail. They allow their mind to be hijacked by impulses, by social pressure, by fleeting validation. The untouchable man builds a fortress inside his head. Walls are constructed from clarity, confidence, and principle. Doors are opened selectively to opportunities, ideas, and alliances that serve growth. Intruders' doubt, manipulation, fear are identified and neutralized before they take hold. Silence becomes a weapon. Solitude becomes a teacher. Reflection becomes strategy. Meditation, journaling, and disciplined thought processes sharpen awareness and focus. A cluttered mind is vulnerable. A structured mind is untouchable. Every decision is deliberate. Every action has a purpose. A mind that cannot be broken does not act out of panic, anger, or desperation. It calculates, responds, and moves with precision. Impulse is replaced with intention. Chaos is replaced with order. Failures are reframed as data points. Rejection is reframed as direction. Criticism is reframed as information. External events no longer have power, interpretation does. And the untouchable man controls the narrative of his own life. He does not seek approval because approval is irrelevant. He does not chase comfort because comfort is fleeting. He does not avoid pain because pain is inevitable. The mind that cannot be broken understands that true power comes from mastery over self, not over others. This mental resilience manifests in confidence, not arrogance, not bravado. True confidence is quiet, calm, and resolute. It is not shaken by insult, failure, or unpredictability. It is a presence, a gravity that draws respect, attention, and influence naturally. The untouchable man knows he cannot control the world, but he can control his response. He cannot prevent storms, but he can navigate them. He cannot eliminate challenges, but he can face them without fear. His mind becomes a weapon. His decisions become unstoppable. His life becomes untouchable. Ultimately, a mind that cannot be broken ensures freedom. Freedom from manipulation, from dependence, from insecurity. Freedom to act decisively, to lead confidently, to build relentlessly. A man may lose wealth, relationships, or comfort, but if his mind remains unbroken, he can rebuild, recover, and rise stronger than before. This is the untouchable man's greatest asset. Not muscle, not wealth, not status, but an unbreakable mind. A mind that decides its own path, dictates its own pace, and owns its own destiny. Mastery of presence, becoming unforgettable. Power is not only in action. True influence resides in presence. The untouchable man does not just move through the world, he owns it. He commands attention without demanding it, inspires loyalty without forcing it, and leaves a mark wherever he goes. Presence is the silent signal of confidence. It is not loud, it is not flashy. It is calm, deliberate, and magnetic. People notice him because he radiates focus, clarity, and energy. They feel it before they see it. They sense it before it is spoken. Most men underestimate presence. They chase noise, gadgets, and appearances, thinking power comes from what is seen or heard, but presence is internal. It is how a man occupies space, how he listens, how he reacts. It is the invisible force that sets him apart from the crowd. To master presence, one must master themselves. Body language, voice, and posture are tools, not accessories. A straight spine, steady gaze, and controlled gestures convey confidence naturally. Words are secondary action. Intention and energy communicate far more than speech. The untouchable man speaks rarely, but when he does, people listen. His words carry weight because they are backed by action, experience, and truth. Empty chatter does not exist in his world. He does not fill silence. He respects it, uses it, and lets it amplify his presence. Mastery of presence also requires emotional awareness. The untouchable man senses moods, tension, and intentions without being manipulated. He adjusts, responds, and dominates situations without aggression. People leave his presence feeling seen, understood, and subtly influenced. Presence is heightened by unpredictability. Routine is safe, but predictability is boring. The untouchable man is consistent in principle, but fluid in action. He surprises, adapts, and challenges expectations, keeping attention focused and respect earned. Appearance and grooming are not vanity, they are armor. A man who presents himself with discipline signals self-respect. It is not about wealth or style, it is about coherence. Every choice, from posture to attire to speech, reflects inner control. Energy is presence. A man who controls his energy controls the room. Calm energy attracts calm. Dominant energy commands respect. Emotional volatility repels. The untouchable man cultivates awareness of his energy at all times, knowing it is contagious, influencing outcomes silently but decisively. Presence extends beyond individuals. It influences groups, cultures, and opportunities. People remember him not just for what he says or does, but for how he makes them feel capable, inspired, attentive, and aligned with his vision. Presence is reputation distilled into the now, and it is unforgettable. To become unforgettable, one must combine all elements of the untouchable man: discipline, resilience, confidence, decisiveness, and strategy. Presence is the apex of mastery, a visible manifestation of inner power. It is the signature that marks a man as untouchable. Ultimately, mastery of presence is mastery over influence. The untouchable man does not demand loyalty or attention, he earns it. He does not need validation, he radiates certainty. And in every room, every interaction, every challenge, his presence announces a simple truth. He is not ordinary, he is untouchable. Legacy: becoming immortal through action. True strength is not measured by what a man endures or achieves alone. It is measured by the impact he leaves behind. The untouchable man understands that his time is finite, and every decision, every effort, every action contributes to a legacy. Legacy is not fame, it is influence. It is not applause, it is remembrance. It is the accumulation of discipline, wisdom, and integrity expressed consistently over time. People remember how a man made them feel, how he inspired them, and how he shaped the world around him. The untouchable man acts with purpose because he knows that nothing he does exists in isolation. Every choice, every sacrifice, every disciplined habit builds a foundation that outlasts him. His reputation, his influence, his principles, they become a blueprint for others to follow. Legacy requires patience. It cannot be rushed. Achievements fade, words are forgotten, but the mark left by deliberate, consistent action endures. The man who masters himself first, who controls his reactions, who upholds his standards, naturally creates a life that echoes beyond his presence. Influence is invisible until it manifests. The untouchable man moves quietly, making decisions that compound over time. People notice not the immediate results, but the momentum. Actions rooted in discipline, consistency, and intelligence build structures that endure relationships, businesses, communities, and ideals that survive long after he has moved on. A man who builds a legacy also builds resilience. He understands that setbacks are temporary, that obstacles are information, and that challenges test not only his skill, but the strength of his principles. Each trial survived strengthens the foundation upon which his influence stands. Legacy is amplified by mentorship. The untouchable man teaches without preaching. He leads by example. Those who witness his discipline, his integrity, and his calm under pressure learn what strength truly looks like. Knowledge shared becomes power multiplied, and influence spreads far beyond one individual. The final truth about legacy is this: it is earned, not inherited. It is the sum of deliberate choices, of battles fought internally and externally, of mastery over self and circumstances. Every man leaves a mark, but few leave one that commands respect, inspires growth, and endures through generations. To become immortal through action, one must live with intention. Each day is an opportunity to reinforce values, to refine skills, to deepen relationships, and to strengthen influence. Time is a resource no one can reclaim. Wasting it is surrendering power. The untouchable man does not chase recognition, but he builds results that demand it. He does not act for approval, but he lives a life that compels respect. His legacy is a reflection of every choice aligned with purpose, every action guided by clarity, and every standard upheld without compromise. Ultimately, becoming untouchable is about more than self-mastery. It is about leaving the world better than you found it, stronger than you entered it, and more aware than it was before. The man who achieves this becomes immortal not through monuments or words, but through the lasting impact of a disciplined, deliberate, and powerful life. And as he moves forward, silent, strong, and untouchable, he understands this. Life will test him, people will misunderstand him, and challenges will persist. But the legacy he builds, grounded in self-mastery, clarity, and presence, will echo long after. It is here, in the enduring mark left on the world, that true power is immortal.